I'm thinking, because I can date without an agenda.
Right.
I can date because I like you. I like spending time with you.
Right.
I want to go break some bread with you.
Right.
I enjoy you. I don't have to have the end goal of marrying you. But we're still going to learn from each other. Right. So how cool is it, even if it's a dating the opposite of religion?
Yeah.
I remember this guy I used to hang out with. I don't know if I would officially call dating. But he did not understand. Religion was not something that he could identify with. He did not call himself a Baptist or Protestant. He didn't have any Methodist.
He's agnostic.
And he didn't even necessarily identify with that.
Oh, wow.
He said, I don't know. I grew up here this way. I'm totally open. And I said, well, why don't you go and explore? But to have that conversation, to meet someone who wasn't in a box or wasn't already identified by anything, and to experience that with him was really cool. It really was. Because he hadn't formulated any opinions about any Muslims, Catholic, Baptist, he really Christianity. Right. And so, I mean, that was an extreme opposite. But even if you are Jewish, I don't know. I've never dated anyone like that. That would be interesting to learn from or to ask questions from. If we decided never to go anywhere with it, that's great because it didn't work. But how cool would it be just to expose? Because being African American female, growing up Baptist, I don't really get to meet that many different types of Christian or religious type. So that's cool.
And it is like the talk of the day, right? Everything is about where you come from, what's your culture, and all those things.
Yes.
So when we meet men today, we're looking at a big picture. It's much different than I think when we were young. You looked at the picture differently. You looked at someone who's potentially you were going to be with, and today you look at the picture and there's just this broad view of what guys are like today, and all kind of women are talking about all kind of guys.
Yeah.
Well, you just didn't know that men came in that many varieties. Like, this isn't just Neapolitan, right?
Right. But then we're willing to share about it, and I don't think we talk about it, but I don't know how often men talk about it. About women.
They say they do a lot.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Do they talk about variety of shit?
I don't know.
No, I mean, really, do they talk? How wide is that variety? I mean, is it just like?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it varies. Maybe it depends on the older, if they're married versus single versus what they're really talking about. I don't know. It feels like the men that I know talk when there's conflict. Like, if it's not conflict, then we're just going to talk about all. Like, we're not going to really be sitting. But if there was a conflict going, okay, now maybe we'll talk more about women, or I don't know though.
Well,
I don't know.
I have a girlfriend who yachts with a bunch of guys, like basketball players and all this. She's like the girl in the group, She's become that rather. And so she was saying that it's really a lot of fun. I was like, how do you do it? She said, actually, it's a lot of fun. But they've kind of made me one of the guys because they talk a lot about the desperate women on social media and how, whoremongering these women are nowadays and needy. And I said, really? And she said, thirsty, all that. And I was like, that's so interesting to hear men's dialogue about, how they perceive us. And we have our conversations about how they just don't work as hard at all. Like, so I think
they don't have to work as hard.
They definitely don't have to.
Well, I was going to say, I think that shows an example of really getting apathetic. Because if you've got women constantly doing this to you,
what do you have to do?
They don't have to work, right? And I think that seems to be a culture. I mean, I'm not single, but from my single friends, that seems to be what I hear so much more is the man just kind of chilling. And not, but right, and that chilling is coming from somewhere.
But those are the cultural differences of being raised in another type of society. And the truth is that what Peaches is saying about opening doors and how she was raised by a father who did it and her husband was open to it. It's really the lack of culture. How are we defining and refining these young men and women out here to become prepared to look at something in a more significant way than I can have sex because I'm free to, and I can have sex with anybody, by the way.
Well, I think that's true. I think that there are men who don't have to work hard. Everything is given to it. They don't really have to even think about what they do or not do because she's going to be there regardless. That's that thirsty thing. But I think that when they find a woman that they really want to be with and she's setting those standards, like, I'm standing here at this door until you open it, or I'm going to require that we go out on a date and not have phone sex.
Wait a minute,
Right?
Or as some guy says, I can get some Harold's chicken and buy some weed and lay up with a chick all week.
Absolutely. You can spend $5 on some chicken,
Yeah.
and the chicken head is going to go cluck cluck, right? Because that's what she wants to do. Absolutely. But when he meets a woman who says, listen, this is what it is, and he really wants to be with you, he's going to step up his game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And our sons are going to know the difference too, because we as mamas are telling them, this is the kind of girl you want to be with. This is the kind of woman you want. You want the woman that is expecting you to open the door or expecting you to do certain niceties for her as a woman that shows you care. Not just, I don't have to do anything. Like, I don't even want my son to ring in that.
So many men, they try it. They test to see, do they have to do anything? I had a guy who's been trying to talk to me for over a year. Went on one date last August. So boring that I left that date and went on another date.
Oh, wow.
Good for you. You had one waiting.
And
I know, you have one waiting.
he never takes up. Like, he's always like, kind of, commented on Facebook, and every now and then in my inbox, you really should let me romance you, you should give me a chance, and constantly. So I said recently, like, okay, maybe I'll give him a chance. I'll go on a date with him. So he's calling you. Well, then he like texts me and says something like, oh yeah, when I get off, he's like, what are you doing late? I was like, oh, I'm actually in the mood for some fish or some seafood. I don't get off until late, but I'd like to see you. Plus, you owe me.
You owe me.
I owe you. Now, this is a text message, so I'm like, owe you? Owe you? What is it that I owe you, and why do I owe you?
Because you left the date.
You owe me a hug and a kiss, or something. You owe me you. I think that's what he said.
In other words, you want sex. I got you.
Yeah, that's code for
Now, we've had this conversation.
What time
before,
was this?
Because he invited me. No, this is early in the day. But he invited me over before, months ago, and said, we'll come by, we'll have some dinner. I'm not coming to your house, but we can go out on a date, but I'm not coming to your house.
Right.
So we kind of had that conversation before, like, that's not what I'm interested in. If that's what you're interested in. You just kind of got the wrong sister. Oh, no, I'm grown. You're grown. I would never come at you like that. I'm a Christian. Okay.
Yeah,
really Christian?
Yes, he's a Christian. So now he brings this up again. I said, okay, now I don't want to, I just want to clarify. I just want to understand. Why do you believe that I owe you? What is it that you've done for me that makes me owe you? I said, I'm just asking because I just want to get clarity so I can tell you whether I agree or disagree.
Right.
Because really, I don't feel like,
I know.
owe you nothing. But I'm trying to be, politically correct and diplomatic about it. And he really couldn't articulate. Well, I just, because I really like you.
But he didn't have shit to say, basically.
Nothing to say. I said, so because you desire me, I owe you? Is that what you're saying?
No,
because you are who you are.
He thought he was being cute.
That's exactly what he thought.
At 51, not 14.
And then he'd get out on a date with you. You'll be sitting across a bottle of wine and a glass, and he'd be like, "So when you gonna pay up?"
Yeah, that's just like that probably worked before.
That's what I was going to say.
Talk about opposites, but that's not opposite. But how about this? This guy said to me recently. What are you doing, Ginger, later today? I'm like, well, I hadn't thought about it because you and I weren't speaking. And then he said, he says, I'm trying to get the right woman wrapped around my mind. I said, wow, that's a great line. Did you share that with anybody else before? At some point, it's check and mate, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I was taken back at that. It's like, I got to get the right woman wrapped around my mind. I left the bank going, that's a pretty good line.
Every once in a while when somebody says something and I know my vernacular, that would have been, and I don't even use this dude, like dude, like that don't even work in dude. Dude, really?
My first thought would have been, it must not be me. Because you said that. So, hey.
And I don't go that deep. You would have to take me there for me to get that deep.
No, I mean, just for him to say that would be my first thought. Oh, okay, so it must not be me. So right then and there, I've already put you in. Okay,
I've already
for me, I'm thinking he's searching.
Yeah.
And that and whatever it is he thinks he's going to have with me may be only momentary. So I might, for me, I know I'm in a place now. So if I'm on a date and I'm inclined to like you, and you and I are opposite or whatever, there still has to be some interest for me to want to hit you up again. You know, you got to get my space again.
But I like that. So Ginger's on this. It's all about me. And when you feel that as a woman, then you can pick and choose, and they can, you know, you can have them in.
Because you can't play queen for a day and be a queen.
No, or dismiss. No, I agree. Yes, you're absolutely right. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about with the opposites. And I asked this in it. I talked about this. I didn't talk about this in Atlanta, but we didn't get to this topic. But if you could secretly date an opposite, age, income, education, profession, would you secretly date, and which one would it be?
Secretly, you mean
nobody would know. Opposites. Meaning, if you could choose an opposite that no one would know about in our fantasy mind, who would it be?
Someone of a different race. Because for me, I have never dated outside my race. I've had Caucasian men find me attractive, but I've never found a white man attractive. I just have not come across that. So for me, it would be a different race.
And let me clarify, because Gigi looked at me. She's like, secretly date. I don't mean like having an undercover.
No. I mean just people would.
If you could choose an opposite
right.
that you really didn't have to divulge because you wanted to experiment or you found it interesting or.
And see, in between my marriages, I had planned on doing that. I was like, I'm gonna date me a white man. I'm gonna date an Asian man. I'm gonna date. I had it planned out. I wanted to. But my husband found me, and he's like,
and that was it.
He took me off the market real fast, so I didn't get to go through this.
Yeah, mine is that I think I wish, because I never dated outside of my race either. There was, I've had white men that showed some attraction. You talked about parents telling you something. My dad never said, you look for this kind of man or anything. But that's just because my dad he's very laid back and sleep. But the one thing that he did say, he was like, do not bring a white man in his house. Don't do it. Like that was like, me and my sister were like, all right, well, that was, again, my dad was not like that. He wasn't one to tell you do or what. He kind of was like, you need to fail, figure it out, and if I'll catch you, if I need to catch you, but you need to, but that was one thing he said. So I think that always kept me, because I was raised in Denver, so, I'm going to be around white boys all day long, right? Yes. So I had white guys.
I paid attention to that.
And so the white guys who did like me, and I don't think I was like my dad said. No, it just always kind of stuck with me. Like, well, but
it was in the back of your mind.
Right.
In the back of your head.
So would that be your secret?
I think now, and not so much a white. I don't know. It's funny now that I'm doing music, and I'm being exposed worldwide. I think I wouldn't necessarily want a white American, but definitely I would be open to a European.
I dated a white guy in college.
Yeah. But what would be your secret opposite? Dee?
I've dated the spectrum, so that's not a big deal. I don't know. I think opposite.
Age?
But
22, 25?
Yeah, I do that.
How low would you go? Okay, not below 26. I know where you go. Because I'm sure all of us have been hit on by someone of that opposite, right? So yeah. But let him be ripped coming in a room. Like, you doing how old?
I do 28.
28, 29?
Age opposite.
Last guy, they was 30.
Probably a moral opposite for me.
A moral opposite. Whoa, look at this guy. A moral opposite.
Like I would want to probably secretly date a stripper.
Wow.
Like a really sexy man stripper.
Yes.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I think we all could do that.
I want to be fearful for my life when we go out.
That brought a lot out, didn't it?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, moral difference, you know, because that's generally when you see something that you really like and you know morally, you're like, that ain't gonna work.
Damn, that ain't even.
It's stripper too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was straight B on the DL with that.
That's what I mean. It's our, what is our secret fantasy?
I would be